Next up, we're talking about how female entrepreneurs have shaped and diversified the NFT industry. This is a panel, 25-minute panel. And ladies, would you like to come on up here and introduce yourselves? Looks like we have Anastasiia, Lavinia, and Leila. Woohoo! Welcome to the party.
Exactly, party. Okay.
What, you gonna say ta-da? Ta-da!
Not yet, not
Give
yet.
them a big round of applause. Hello. Woo!
Fantastic! Hello everyone, welcome to NFT.London!
Woo!
Well, I'm so glad to be joined by such an incredible panel today. I'm joined by the experts in female entrepreneurship and in the fields of blockchain and NFTs. Both of you are innovators and really have shaped and led the way for females in the space.
So, you too, Leila.
Thank you so much. Thank you. For those who don't know me, I'm Leila Hurstel. I'm the Chief Metaverse Officer at Verse Estate. We're a hyper-realistic metaverse, and we're building a full digital world. And also the founder of All Stars Women DAO, which is an initiative to help close the gender and funding gap for females in the NFT and Web3 space in general. So I will let you ladies introduce yourselves.
No, you first, darling.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Anastasiia. So I am PR and business development for DIBA. It's digital art on Bitcoin. We are building first Bitcoin NFT marketplace and planning to bring NFTs back to where it belongs. And also we are building Bitmas, Bitcoin wallet extension. And I think how ladies met me initially, I'm also hosting Babylon project. It's virtual global blockchain focused hackathons, which usually happening once a year, but not this year. So yeah, I'm sorry in advance. Lavinia, words to you.
Okay, so my name is Lavinia Osbourne. I am the host and the founder of Women in Blockchain Talks. It's the UK's #1 diversity-driven, educational and networking blockchain platform. And ultimately, the objective of Women in Blockchain Talks, way back when it started 3 years ago, was to shine a spotlight on the few but dynamic women in the blockchain space. Why? Because representation matters. Sometimes if people don't see other people who look like them doing what they're doing, then it's very difficult for them to see a place or see themselves in this space. And diversity is extremely important, not just from a business perspective, but just from a human perspective. If blockchain is going to be that thing, that technology that creates this paradigm, then we need to make sure it reflects the people of the world and not just one demographic of the world. And for me, diversity is not just about ethnicity or gender, even though Women in Blockchain Talks is gender-led, but it's also about languages, it's also about cultures, it's also about disability. So that's what Women in Blockchain Talks does. And we are an award-winning platform. And yeah, I get the opportunity to meet many other dynamic women in this space.
Fantastic, such inspirational things. But anyways, it's no secret that this is quite a male-dominated field, but thankfully this is actually changing. And it's so less than 16% of actually NFT artists are females. And many of them are implementing various forms of activism into their NFT collections to help close the gender gap in the space. And one question, so I was wondering if you could maybe tell us about your story and how you got involved in the NFT sector and in the industry in the first place. What was the first step that you took to be involved in this?
Okay, so last year, I had the wonderful opportunity to be part of an NFT hackathon. And I was introduced to the term hackathon because, you know, you think hackathon when you first come into the space. And for me, I was just like, that's way too technical. I'm not that clever. But this, this lady here, she was the one who broke it down for me and made me understand that hackathon is for everyone. You don't have to be technical. You can be creative. It's kind of, just think of it like a project, an intense project where you're working on something. And then you may have, well, not may, you do have to have someone who's technical in the team, but you could be like more strategist orientated or creative orientated. So I was part of an NFT hackathon last year and it changed my life. It changed my life. And I really loved it. And off the back of it, I created a project called Crypto Queens, NFT Crypto Queens, which is a marketplace which focuses on the diversity numbers. So there's an 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of the artists on Crypto Queens NFT marketplace will be women, 20% will be men, and non-binaries, right? Because I'm not about exclusion. I'm all about, love, human beings. But if you want to make a balance, then you have to focus on the area that needs to be increased, right? So I did that, and then off the back of that, I also was part of another project in that same hackathon, which was my butterfly creation, my butterfly collection, I should say, sorry. And these butterflies, I created these butterflies because we felt that the metaverse, Web.3, needed a feminine touch. Are not butterflies just such a beautiful thing, to bring a bit of a feminine, light, humorous, joyous touch to the metaverse? So we did that. And just off the back of that, I just fell down the rabbit hole of NFTs, met some amazing people, such as Lisa Mayer, who is the co-founder of Boss Beauties, which is a blue chip NFT project, and they are doing bits. And just very quickly, I just want to add this to this story, is that I did some work with them when they launched last year. They're only a year old, and they've done so much. And my 2 Boss Beauties that they gifted to me were stolen from my wallet. And that happened earlier part of this year, and I was pissed. So I got in touch, because of the network I'm in, I got in touch with a lawyer, and this lawyer, she's one of the top lawyers in this space. And we took it to the High Courts of England and Wales. And in doing that, I am the first person in the world, to have a proprietary injunction, given to me by the judge to say that these NFTs are mine. And this has an implication on tax, has an implication on insurance. Prior to my case, it was a worldwide freezing order. And so my name now is down in history in regards to NFTs. Over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, this fascinating story, how you battle in court, it's another thing, that's for sure. I would like to support Lavinia in terms of it's hard for female entrepreneurs in the NFT and Web3 space, and I know that amount of us, like female representation, is growing and growing every day, but what I like in terms of communities of these 2 ladies, it's not about, it's all about inclusion. We're still happy to see male onboarding to the communities. And to be honest, even today on the panel talk, I would love to have one male representative who would see and announce his kind of perceptions. Oh yeah, if you want, you can jump in.
Come on, Brian.
We are happy to see you here. To see his vision and to say what he thinks would be important to do. If you're speaking about my journeys in NFT space, so I joined Web3 space through the hackathons. I had interest in the blockchain, and we started hosting with the co-founder Gideon, and also initially founder of the DIBA, of the company. I'm working as a PR and business developer. So our initial plan was just to onboard as many people around the globe to the blockchain space, and also give them access to the mentors or incubators or funds around the globe, because not everyone has the same level of the access, because most of the kind of greatest opportunity you can get, it's usually like London, it's New York, something like this. But what about the countries who doesn't have access to all these connections, to all this network? So obviously, when people start speaking more about NFTs, metaverses, we also had these panel talks to have also more onboarding and also to provide more information and to see different perspectives, how it can grow within the industry, what business use cases can happen. So when it was kind of not this boom, what was happening last year. So also after working with different protocols and getting sponsorship from different protocols, so obviously developers were building their startups on different protocols. We still were kind of Bitcoin focused. So that's when Gideon decided, why if NFTs initially were on Bitcoin, why they now on Ethereum? Because the Bitcoin wasn't scalable. You couldn't do this. You kind of could do it, but it was really complicated. It was really a long process. And even the initial story of color coins, why it didn't work out, because the community was so diversified in terms of their vision. So everyone just okay, let's find the more easier way. So basically now we are building first like Bitcoin NFT marketplace, and scaling is like with RGB smart contracts. It's how NFT is going to be attached to the Bitcoin. That's why we're also building wallet, our team, because people need to store it somewhere. So in terms of my journey and NFT collection, I'm supporting female-led projects because I personally don't really trust some protocols, and it's probably gonna sound terrible, but it's me. But I would love to support the community, and I would love to still buy NFTs I find like attractive for me. I like it, or like the idea behind them. And one of them is like not your bro NFTs, and they have not your demons. What they're doing for community and how active their community is fascinating. It's like female-led plus LGBTQ plus, which I love them. And they won the nomination at NFT NYC as the best charity. NFT collectibles. So they're doing a great job, and I like to see the community, and I think everyone is like really friendly. So yeah, probably also look into them. They're doing cool. But yeah, I think it's kind of a bit edgy trip in terms of NFTs and how I joined these and how I'm involved in these. And I would love to pass my words to Leila. And I'm also ambassador for her All Stars Women DAO,
Thank you.
and I'm really proud of it. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I love the fact that in our projects, because like many people think that when we say female-led projects or female-led communities, many people think that it's exclusive of males, but it's not at all. Actually, we're inclusive, and we don't exclude any gender or any type of person. Like it's for everyone. But as well, we're supporting the cause of involving more females. And one thing I would like to know from you ladies is, what do you think the barriers to entry are for females in the NFT space specifically? Like, why isn't there more females in the space?
Okay, there are no barriers to women. There just isn't. There's no barriers. Right? I think that with women, we are our own worst enemy, and we get in our own ways, and we make excuses as to why we can't do something, whereas we should be saying why not, you know? I think obviously, and it's been recorded, there's so much data around that shows that women are less of a risk taker than men. But this is the thing for me with NFTs. I mean, I love this space so much. It's done so much for my life. And, you know, I'm just really grateful to be able to use my voice to amplify other people's voices, particularly women in this space. But let's just talk about ownership, and with NFTs and that viability of ownership, right? The story with women and ownership is a long and very kind of a tumultuous one in regards to like 200 years ago, women couldn't own properties, even in this country. Even today, there are some countries where women cannot open a bank account unless they have a male relative with them, right? In 2022. But this is the facts of the matter. So for me personally, NFTs are a reason why women should come into this space. And sometimes what I have to do, doing the work that I do, and it's a lot of outreach work, because you can't expect women to come into this space if they don't, you know, people don't know what they don't know. They hear blockchain, they hear NFTs, oh my God, is it a scam? Oh my God, it's technical. Oh my God, it's finance. Oh my God, I don't have time for that, right? But the truth of the matter is that once you break it down to them, which is what I do, there's this aha moment, and I'm like, oh, okay. Let me have a look. So one of the things that I've done and do, and I absolutely love it, and it's so much fun, is called an NFT minting party. And I say, come on, women, let's have a Sex in the City moment with some glass of wine, or not, and we are going to mint some NFTs. We're going to mint some mofo NFTs. And so this is what I do with them, and this is just a way of going to them and showing them why they should know about this space, and 2, how, and 3, do it in a way that it's not so overwhelming to them, because it's not about the technical and the finance. Yes, it is, but I just put a Sex and City moment over it, you know? So, yeah, so that's the answer. There is no barriers.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so one thing I wanted to highlight as well is that females, actually, it's a fact that there is still a gender pay gap for females, which is quite sad, as we need to really fight to make sure that the gap is narrowed down. But what do you think about the fact that as we have less money to invest in these NFTs, do you think that prevents us as well, because we have less disposable income to take more risks in NFT projects?
I believe it's pretty questionable, because if you're even speaking about the pay gap, sometimes it's not even about gender. It's because most of the companies, they prefer their employees not discuss their payment. Because if people will discuss how much and who is getting paid, there are going to be more and more problems. For them, especially if it's like one floor, for example, set up, everyone will be like, oh my God, why? Someone joined like 6 months ago, but they're getting paid more. So I believe in the first place, it's not only for females, but also for males. They need to understand their value. They need to kind of check maybe their qualifications, how long they're working somewhere, and etc., to understand their value. And if they think that they cost more, probably speak with the human resource or switch the position to get paid more. If we're speaking about NFTs project, if it stops or no, now we kind of like, it's called crypto winter and all these scary names, but like everything dropped. So basically now it's an opportunity to invest in some projects maybe you were interested in before or you like them, and they're on discount, so why not? They cost less than they used before. And also, I believe that there are so many amazing projects which are kind of undervalued because the artists just starting, or they don't have like a really established community, or maybe some people not interested in their project just to pump and dump, so that's why the price is not increasing that fast. So of course, if you would like to jump on the train of like pump and dumping process, and for example something like all-time high, it's complicated to buy it. But if you invest in NFTs as a pieces of art and you focus on it, oh, I love it, I don't think I'm gonna like resell it later on, maybe, situations changes, but you just actually like, you have fun with the artist, or you like what you're seeing, you still can find the way how to afford it. It's like how I feel about it, to be honest.
I think it's important to say as well, when you think about the CryptoPunks, they were given away for free. They were airdropped. So there's so much freeness in this space, so much freeness. And I mean, even I give away butterflies all the time. Tweet, share a tweet on at WIBT Talks, Women in Blockchain Talks.
Lavinia, where's my butterfly?
It's on its way, darling. It's on its way.
Okay.
And so the point, what I'm saying here is that, there are NFTs that you can pick up for free. It might not be a Boss Beauty, but at the end of the day, what is starting at zero today may have value tomorrow. You've got to look at this space on the long term, not the short term, and support each other.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And as more and more people get educated in the space and have access to platforms like the ones that you guys are building, it's going to be easier and easier for us for females to join forces and discover more projects and be even more involved in the space. And the outlook is looking very positive. I'm seeing a lot of females getting involved and lots of movements, and hopefully we can kind of shape the Web3 world to be much more inclusive and to have much more females than in the Web2 world, because right now we're still at its inception, and it's a blank canvas, right? It's the perfect opportunity to do so. And I think it's worth noting that I've seen many of the female-led NFT collections which are really driving inclusion and diversity. Like many of their NFT collections, they have different skin tones, different textures, different utilities. So maybe could you tell us a little bit more like about digital identities in the metaverse especially, and how NFTs from female-led collections are helping to shape a more safe and inclusive environment for the Web3 space?
Basically, today was a really interesting panel by Una on the same floor about the kind of ID protection and anonymously in the Web3 space. And in terms of even the identity in metaverse or on Twitter or female-led communities, I feel like this space is shaped at the level, like at a really great level now, and it's kind of dedication of everyone in the community, how you having a perspective of what's going on. And I believe we still shouldn't just kind of divide the communities, female-led community, not female-led, female artist, non-female artist, because we need to look, first of all, at the talent or what people want to do with each project. And I feel like female-led communities in the NFT space, like they're amazing, they're really supportive. Like it's like go girl vibes all the time. And I think it's really great. It's like it should be like added to all industries. But at the same time, I feel like even metaverse space, if like someone want to identify them as female in the metaverse space, that's an opportunity to do it. And we just should also include them and just treat them the same way, like how they want it. So I don't know, I feel like Web3 space is like such a new one, and it just like all depends on us, how we're gonna treat people who are entering the space. And the more freedom and the less perceptions we're gonna have towards everyone, the kind of healthier community in this like digital world we would be able to build.
I agree and don't agree. And the reason why is that, you know, we don't live in a, what's that word? Dystopia? Is it dystopia? Like, huh? Yeah, dystopic, thank you. World, you know, and at the end of the day, we hope that most people think like we do in regards to equality and equity and things like that. But the truth of the matter is, we live in a world where many people actually don't. So we have to be very mindful, particularly because we are creating this new space and this paradigm that's supposed to be different from this centralized Web3, male-dominated, paternal, structured society. We have to be mindful, right, that if we're choosing to be in this space, this is my opinion, of course, that if we're choosing to be in this space, man, woman, non-binary, and if you think like us, you need to check people, right? You need to check people. We need to check each other, make sure that we are working towards those things that we say we believe in. We want that difference. We want that equality, right? So one of the things, just to, I can only talk about what I'm doing, and of course some of the things that I've seen, but this is what we're doing. So we created the butterfly NFTs. People can have whatever avatar they want. They could be a woman with a man's avatar. But one of the things we offer to our butterfly holders as a form of a utility is for them to be able to add the color of their butterfly or the design of their butterfly onto their avatar. So what that basically means is that when they go into the metaverse or a metaverse, right, and somebody sees someone else with a butterfly wing, they'll be able to say, oh, they're Women in Blockchain Talks. I don't know who they are, but I feel more confident and comfortable to go up to them and say, hey, what up, right? And maybe have some form of conversation. Because at the end of the day, the space is new. And there has already been reports of misogyny in the space. So let's not be naive about what this space is, what this space can be. And now, we as women need to protect ourselves, and just human beings need to protect ourselves. Because if too many women have bad experiences in the metaverse, what do you think is going to happen? It's just going to become male-dominated. They're not going to go in. So it's up to us, all of us, to try and create a safe, secure, and supportive space as much as we possibly can. And this is one way that Women in Blockchain Talks are doing it with the butterfly wings. Thank you.
But to be honest, I believe that even if it's going to become like more male-dominated, the women still will come. It's all literally depends on our choices at the end of the day. I know it's reports. It's reports on Twitter that some people DMing you on Twitter some kind of compliments or some kind of comments on how you look and etc. You can't change it. We're trying to change it. I'm not saying like just to accept it and ignore it. No, but we can't kind of educate everyone, because sometimes this like the aim of parents to raise their children nicely and to show them that like professional environment is professional environment. You're not attacking women with compliments. You're not attacking them in terms of how they look, no matter where is it like Twitter, LinkedIn, conference, metaverse. But I still believe like it's so many kind of, I would say rule breakers who would never be stowed by like some kind of dominated space, and women still will come to the metaverses more and more. I feel it just like depends on the speed of adoption, just like around the globe. So I kind of support your point, but at the same time, I believe that still you shouldn't kind of all the time identify to what community you kind of belong when you come into metaverse, it should be kind of already within people's understanding how they should behave, no matter what part of community you are.
Well, all I can say is that rape crimes are still going up here in the world, so why won't that be reflected, not necessarily in the metaverse or Web3, but like until we have solutions, and it's not, we don't want a space where, you know, we are going to, what's the word? The words escape me, where we're going to be domineering over individuals, right? But all I'm saying is that there has to be a sense of intention and mindfulness amongst all of us until there are solutions in place. That's kind of my point.
Thank you so much, ladies, for all of these insights. And I wish we could continue this conversation, but we literally we're over 12 seconds. But hopefully we can continue this talk in the near future. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of these insights. I'm really glad to have been here and to have heard your opinions. Yeah, so that's it.
Give them a big round of
Thank you.
applause.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. That was very nice.